Recording it or video recording it? Just
video,
so I know.
video recording it, yeah.
Ah,
So it's gonna be both because I have to have because
Just-
I'm doing a project at school and we have to like fully in-depth learn about a type of religion, and there's three major types of Buddhism, and then we kind of divided those up. So I had the Theravada Buddhism.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's kind of why I'm here. And then attending a religious service was something that we had to do. Then we had to interview someone that's like knows a lot about their religion or like teaches the religion or something like that. So I'll probably still come on Friday and ask too. But so how long have you been studying Buddhism?
Well, I originally, I guess I first connected with it way back in 2006. I was just finished graduate school and had a lot of free time. I think I graduated in May or June. I didn't start working until September, so I had a lot of free time. My girlfriend, who's now my wife, she'd suggested something about Buddhism, so I just picked up a book. I was like, wow, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
Started studying it, started learning it, and then started working. Got sucked back into that whole rat race, and then put it down until about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
Then picked it up again, and here I am.
Awesome. Well, how has this religion affected your daily life?
Oh,
and
my
how do
goodness.
you integrate it into your daily life?
And so in terms of the religious practice on a day-to-day basis, or?
Both.
Okay.
Or just any way.
Okay, so I guess I'll answer it in two ways. One, sort of on a day-to-day basis, what the practice looks like, and two, the impact the practice has on day-to-day. So first, I wake up early most mornings. I'm currently not employed. There's a whole backstory to that. But when I was working and just living the regular life or whatever, I'd wake up early in the morning before work to meditate. That would kind of help sort of set the tone for the day, and then I'd go to work, and then I'd have an evening session as well. But Buddhism's not, at least this style of Buddhism, or I guess all of it really, it's not necessarily just about doing your practice, your sitting formal meditations. Like what we do on the cushion is completely irrelevant if we don't try to apply it off the cushion. So throughout the day, I'm just constantly reminding myself to kind of bring myself back to the present. And over time, that becomes much more habituated to where you don't have to think about it as much. It just kind of happens. And then as your mind calms down, there's this, you get to see kind of a wider view. Have you ever been like have you ever kind of been in a really overstimulating environment? Maybe you're at a bar or something, and there's music going on and 1,000 people talking and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of stressful. It can be kind of stressful, but you kind of get to a point where all that stuff kind of comes in and it's almost effortless. That's when we start talking about like awareness, and then you start noticing things and also that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what the daily practice looks like. So it's so integrated into your life that you're constantly thinking about it, and then it becomes habit.
Okay.
So in terms of its impact on me on a day-to-day basis, I was kind of in a dark place at the time, and that's when I kind of went back to Buddhism. It completely pulled me out of that hole, and now there's sort of this sense that how I spend my day-to-day activities are now worth something a lot more, worth something that's greater than just my individual needs of needing food, clothing, and want to go out and have fun and all that kind of stuff. So there's that sense. It's also calmed me, even though I'm kind of an energetic fellow. Hopefully you've noticed by now. It has calmed me down quite a bit. I'm not nearly as reactive to various stimuli. I don't get angry that much anymore. I'm a lot more joyful and playful, and so there is that aspect to where the teachings and the meditation itself has had a definite impact on my day-to-day life.
What do you enjoy most about this religion? It can be like a specific practice or a specific idea or anything like that.
So I guess the whole religion is, on various levels, depending on which tradition you're looking at, is built around this idea that we don't see things for how they are. And because of that gap between the way things are and the way that we see them, in that gap is all of our bullshit. All the stuff that causes us suffering, that causes us pain, all the difficulties in life, just everything. And so that's what originally attracted me to Buddhism, is what I read out of it at first was that, well, it's essentially asking you to accept reality for exactly how it is in any given moment. And that was kind of a mind-blowing realization. So I guess that's what.
What do you recommend to someone who's just starting out in this religion? Could be like a specific practice to do first, or like something to read first, or like something to understand about themselves first.
I would say understand your motivation. All the traditions, but the Mahayana tradition, I know you're working on Theravada tradition, but it's always important to understand your motivation before you do anything, because that, when things get difficult, is what's going to carry you through. So if, and that's also going to dictate kind of what practices are appropriate for you. So, the view from Tibetan Buddhism, it tries to integrate the different aspects of the different traditions. So when we talk about the Theravada tradition, that tends to be the starting point, or elements of that tend to be the starting point for Tibetan Buddhism. It's called the Hinayana. Then after you develop, a personal sense of renunciation, then you kind of move on to the Mahayana, which then it becomes more about developing compassion and open-heartedness towards others. And if that's good, then you can jump into the Vajrayana, which is kind of like hitting the gas pedal, but not everything's like that for everyone. So, long, rambling answer. I would say understand your motivation.
Okay.
Is probably the best thing.
Thank you so